There are a set of overlapping stereotypes of Jews in the world in general over time, and specifically in America, all of which originate, in my view, in a really complicated, in two different complicated matrices, one of which is the Christian matrix, and the other which is the matrix of Orientalism. So with respect to the first, one of the things that people started saying about Jews fairly early on, although not as early on as we might think, roughly the 11th century, the 1000s or so, following the First Lateran Council, is to stress the role that Jews allegedly played in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Jews up till that point had been in the Roman Empire just another minority among minorities, a particularly rebellious minority. There was a Jewish rebellion that was set down in like 74 AD, and thereafter Jews were kind of scattered. And as the Roman Empire declined and fell, Jews continued to sort of make their way to the sort of various portions of Europe, and indeed to Babylonia, where there was a really strong, powerful, probably centered Jewish culture for most of the Middle Ages. Was not Jerusalem, but rather Baghdad, where it sort of remained as such well into early modern period. And in fact, the Talmud, which is the book of commentary on the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, was largely composed in Jerusalem and in Baghdad, and the Babylonian Talmud is actually the more sophisticated of the two. So, but starting around 1074 or so, or 1100, a new form of theological anti-Jewish sentiment started to rise up in Europe. And who knows why. There's a historian called C.L. Moore who has a book where he claims that it's part of what he calls the rise of a persecuting society, in which outsider groups within Europe, like Jews, leopards, and prostitutes, were all stigmatized. I mean, that gives you some sense of how Jews are being considered. They're being thought of as like, leprous or like prostitutes. And then that sort of increased in fervor throughout the 12th and 13th centuries as Jews came to be expelled from a number of countries, and came as well to be ghettoized, consigned to only certain portions of the big cities. So the first layer of anti-Jewish response and stereotype there's a theological one. Jews are thought of as Christ killers. They're thought of as people like Judas. They're thought of as people who, having had a chance to hear the Christian dispensation, chose not to follow it. So that's step one.